I do enjoy painting night scenes, and I have done a few nocturnes
Oh, have you?
in the city streets. Of course, there has to be enough light, right? At least on my paper.
Okay.
But I have painted inside like a theater with no almost no lights on because I was painting the actors on the stage. They're the ones in the spotlight, but I had to be in the dark. But I took a reading light and I attached to the easel, and then I painted with the light and sometimes headlight. One
Oh,
time on a
really?
Caribbean island, they took us to like a natural preserve and with no light, pitch black. So we all wore headlamps,
Oh,
actually,
wow.
painted.
Oh, that's
That was fun
brilliant.
too. Yes.
Hey, well,
So
let's do
that
it.
way.
Let's set a date. Let's do a plein air night scene. I don't know how the heck we'll do it, but I think we should try it in San Diego or nearby. Let's do it. Let's do it. Brilliant. Okay, it looks like it's about time to start. So, hello everyone, and welcome to a patron-only Arty class webinar hosted by Shopkeep Arty. As you know, we scour the world for some of the best artists and provide free to all Arty classes every Tuesday, but on Thursdays we hold Arty classes for our patrons only, those of you kind enough to support us in keeping this initiative going. And since it's for patrons only, you're guaranteed a webinar spot. So welcome, feel free to ask a question direct to Keiko. You can type in the Q&A. You know the drill by now. We're all yours for 45 minutes. So although this is for our patrons, we do also live stream on YouTube at the same time. It's a little bit delayed, but if you type your question in YouTube, I'll look out for it and I can put the question to Keiko as well. After a few weeks, we remove these videos from YouTube and archive them in our virtual library for our patrons. And I will just show you how that works. So here is the patron site here, and the way that we catalog them or filter them is by lots of different filters that you can search by for different videos and workshops for lots and lots of different things. So let's say, for example, you wanted pencil sketching. You literally click on the pencil sketching, and then you have all the different videos relating to pencil sketching with the artist. So it's a really nice catalogue of different things, a really good resource for you. Our Arty classes are designed to give a great taster, but we then provide you with the opportunity of booking a full workshop webinar with the artist. This is a much more immersive experience where you'll spend 2 to 3 hours with the artist and learn a lot of their tips and tricks in doing so, and create some amazing art yourself. It's just £35 or just over £10 an hour, so it's really great value. This week we're welcoming back Keiko Tanabe, who is a very sought after artist, got loads of character, and she's tutored and run workshops all around the world in lots of different countries. So really excited to welcome her back. And even more excited that she managed to get up so early to join us as well. We'll stop around halfway to take a little short break, and I'll be asking Keiko to outline her next upcoming webinar workshop, which is actually, I think, scheduled to take place on the 29th of October, so just the end of this month on a Thursday. But for now, it's time to welcome back Keiko. Hello, Keiko.
Hi, John. Hi, everybody. It's so nice to be back, and thank you so much for inviting me again to do
No problem.
Arty class. So today I chose a specific theme, which is perspective. I'm sure you've heard of it. Maybe, I don't know if you heard of it or not. This is something I think we all need to learn because it's quite useful to capture something in a three-dimensional way, especially if you're going to do a building. This is something you absolutely must know. But actually, it's not that hard once you understand, and I think you can deal with this quite easily. But if you don't, I think you will struggle, and your drawing will look a little bit off. And and then you're not quite sure why it doesn't look right. So let's talk a little bit more about perspective today. So what it is really the way of seeing, and especially a building. When you do a building, let's say a simple building. I'm going to just do a quick drawing right here to explain what I'm talking about. So simple building, but you could be looking at just one side of a building depending on where you stand. So if you're facing a building, let's say a building that looks like a roof, this is the front of the building, maybe there's a door. It looks like a kindergarten. But it, looks like this, right? But if you move or go around the corner and then look at the different side of the same building, it may look like this, right? I'm just making it up. But if you either here or there, this building looks flat because you only see one side. But if you see a corner of this building and then you see two sides of a building, so you're looking at this building from sideways, that's when you have to deal with a perspective. So the same building should look like, well, maybe like this. Look like this. So which looks better? Well, of course, if there's a street scene, if there are many buildings, and you can have all of them to make your painting look interesting. But I'm sure this is the one that looks more three-dimensional and it looks more interesting, but it's a bit complicated. So how to do this in an accurate way, that's what I would like to talk about today. So the first thing you need to find actually is a horizon, because without horizon, this house can look in many different ways. So usually the horizon is your eye level. Usually goes somewhere right around this part of the building. So there's a door, and then I said it's an eye level. So just imagine yourself, you're standing or you're trying to enter this building where your eyes or your head would be. So again, I'm going to do like a kindergartner sketch. It's a stick figure, right? So if it's you, or it can be anybody else, and your head should be just below the top of the door. Otherwise, you're going to hit your head, right? And you can't enter. So this is where your head is, your eyes are. That's where the horizon is. So if you can't find the horizon, next thing would be very difficult, which is the vanishing point. You must have heard of this already somewhere. So there's a point called the vanishing point on the horizon. But for this way of looking at this house and this way of looking at this house, you don't have to worry about the vanishing points. But for this one, if you can't find the vanishing point, it's a bit difficult to draw accurately. So where is the vanishing point? Actually, there are two vanishing points. One for this side of the house, another for this side of the house. So let's find it. Like I said, the vanishing points are on the horizon. So somewhere on the horizon, and this is the horizon, there are vanishing points. So for this side of the building, vanishing points are, let's see, I'm drawing another line. Yeah, this should be going to the vanishing point. So it's right here for this side of the building. And this side of the building, there's a vanishing point on the other side of the house. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to extend this line, and then I'm going to extend this line, and then they should meet on the horizon. Actually, it goes outside the paper. This is the paper, but there's another vanishing point. So I didn't put the vanishing points first to draw this, but I kind of visualize where they are. So I think this drawing of this house, looks fairly accurate, if not 100%, but fairly accurate. So first horizon and then vanishing point. That's what we have to find, and then you should be able to draw. If it's a simple building, pretty easily. So let me see. This is usually the case because you're most likely looking at a building standing on the same ground where the building is standing on. But it's not always the case. Sometimes you may be on a high rise looking down and see a house down there, or sometimes you see a house up on the hill, you're looking up. So let's briefly talk about how the houses, the same house, might look like, and if your eye level is not the same. And in other words, if your horizon is not there. So, for example, like I said, if you're looking down on a house, I'm going to put another horizon right here. Your eye level is much higher than where the house is. So the horizon doesn't go through the house. So in that case, the same house should look like this. It's very different, right? The horizon is right here. And then I put the whole house under the horizon. What happened here? The vanishing points, again, I had two vanishing points. Draw this. One is right here, another right here. Well, I should go to the same place, right? Like this. And what about, let's say, what did I say? If the house is on top of the hill, what does this look like? So in that case, yeah, the house entire house should be above the horizon. So I'm going to do a house right here. And well, let's do the vanishing points first. Actually, that's better always. And I did the vanishing points afterwards, after I drew this house. But let's do the vanishing points first. And then I will draw two lines for one side of the building. Like this. And then there's another vanishing points, and I do two lines that go to the vanishing point to draw a different side of this building, like this. So we'll just imagine it's sitting on a hill. You're looking up at same building, but it looks very, very different. And actually, sometimes if the hill is quite high, you don't even see the roof. But if you're looking down, maybe it's all you see. The roof is maybe all you see. So you really have to think about where you are. Are you standing? Are you looking at a house on the same level where the house is standing on? Or are you looking down? Or are you looking up? So where is the horizon? It's really, really important. That's your eye level. So if you move, horizon moves with you. But once you find the horizon, I think the rest is quite easy. All you have to find is two vanishing points, one for each side of the building. So this knowledge we can apply to today's photo. I gave you the reference photo. This is actually the temple gate. I'll show you. So this is the reference photo. And this
Lindsay from New York City said that she hadn't thought of drawing the vanishing lines first. That was an interesting.
Oh, that's great. So yeah, that's something new. And I hope you will try the next time you draw a building and this method. And I hope it'll be much easier.
And Cynthia has been amazed this was a bit earlier actually, at how early you woke up. And she said 6 a.m. in California. Kudos.
Thank you. All right, so this reference photo, let's find the horizon. Conveniently, there are people. You can see some people, but let's see. There's a man walking, coming this way. He looks very nice. He looks like he's dressed up. But anyway, I assume he's about the same height. It's not very different. He's not a child, and he's not a very, very tall person, average size. And and I'm average too. So let's say his eyes, his head is my eye level. It's the same place. And then that's where the horizon is. So horizon is right here. That goes through his head. So if you don't want to change the composition, it's I don't want to change the composition. It's little lower, right? Horizon line. But let me put it right here. Okay. And then most of the gate is above the horizon, just a little bit. So in other words, the horizon goes through the wall. It's not above, it's not below, right? So we have to make sure we will draw that way. And then the next we have to do is the vanishing points. We have to find the vanishing point. So if you think about the front side of the gate is one side of the house I drew, just like, let's say like here. And then both this side of the gate is like here, like this, the narrower side of the house. It's almost the same shape, right? So there are two vanishing points. But is it inside this paper? I don't really think so. Both vanishing points are probably outside the paper. So this is one end of the paper, this is the other end. But that can happen. It's not always inside your paper. So you have to keep in mind and try not to always put the vanishing points inside your paper. So let's take care of one at a time. I will do the wider side, so the front of the gate. So it's quite big actually. And then if it's a building, maybe like a 3 or even 3 or 4 story building, I think. So the top of the gate, let's put it right there. So this line, top of the gate, this line should go down towards the vanishing point, but it's quite far away, but it's always on the horizon. So, and the horizon doesn't start here and doesn't end here. It's an indefinite line, line, a straight line. So this line should go down towards the vanishing point somewhere on the left side of the paper. Okay, and then I would do another line. So that's the end of the roof, the lower end of the roof. And so it should be like that. And then there's quite a bit of height and underneath. And so, and then 2 big columns to support this side of the gate. Okay. And then the bottom of the gate, even though the gate, but it's a gate, so it's open, but there's, if the big doors, but at this time when I took the photo, the gate, the doors were open. But if the doors are closed, so there should be a line under the door, right? That line shouldn't be the horizon. Sometimes I see people use horizon line to indicate the bottom of the building, bottom of the gate, but it's not. Actually, horizon should be above that line. So the bottom of the gate should be below, but is it a straight line? No, it should be going up towards the vanishing point, same vanishing point for this and this, okay? And then this will be the front of the gate. And I will do a little bit more drawing so you understand. So it looks like this, right? And there's lots of tiles on top. Okay, so that's one side, front of the gate. So let's take care of this side of the gate because we're looking at this gate from sideways. We're not really standing in front of the gate, looking at it straight on. So this side, there's another vanishing point and it's on the horizon, but is it inside the paper? Let's see. I think it's slightly off the paper. So actually this gate is not really a complicated shape, but you might want to think about this as almost like two different forms. And one is like a cube And on top, there's what's it called, like a triangular, like a prism sitting on it, right? So that part, the top part, we need to think about the vanishing point. Of course, this cube as well, it's good if you think about the perspective. But since the roof, because of the shape, is more complicated, and you have to simplify the shape. So that's why I mentioned a triangular prism sitting on it. So there's the vanishing point, maybe just slightly off the paper, and this line should go towards the vanishing point. But you don't want to use this line and this line with a vanishing point. You don't want to draw these lines with a vanishing point. Actually, it's different. And actually, you don't really have to worry about perspective for these lines. And maybe if you want to do something to be accurate, this line and this line, maybe you can make the same an angle. And then this one, well, there's another one right there, but we don't really see it, right? But it should be the same angle. But I will erase this. This line is behind. So I think that's it for the gate. But you can see walls, right, on both sides of the gates. So maybe we can do that. And it's a bit shorter on the top of the wall. It's probably somewhere around here. Yes, but these lines have no perspective, and it's almost, you can make it almost in parallel to the horizon. But technically there, you have to think about perspective, but it's so close to the horizon, it's almost a flat. So I would just make it flat, and this is my way of making it simple. Just keep it simple. All right, so that's the wall. And then actually after this, we don't really need the horizon. It was just useful to do the perspective right, to do the drawing right. So we don't really need that anymore. Okay. So really that's it. That's the drawing. Well, since this is a painting class, so we want to put the colors in this one. But I wanted to explain a little bit further than I normally do about the perspective, because to draw a building correctly, you really must understand this. And then if you have a good drawing, you can make a good painting on top of it. But if your drawing doesn't look correct, or something is strange, it's usually the perspective, and you must correct it before I start painting. So this part may be a little bit difficult, but anybody can do this, and it's quite simple as a concept. Just make sure you have the horizon, and then find the vanishing points. You may not need a vanishing point depending on which side of the building you're looking at. But if you're doing a building this way, with a corner in the middle, and you're looking at two sides, you must have two vanishing points, one for each side. So I'm going to put the colors in this one.
Now, just a question for you, Keiko, on that. So if you were not in a workshop and you were just painting this and sketching this out yourself privately, would you make the pencil marks as bold as you've done here, or would you keep it a bit paler?
Actually, my drawing would be maybe a few lines.
Right.
This is for my preliminary drawing, normal preliminary drawing for a painting. I just wanted to explain perspective, so I drew a lot, and I even shaded some of the parts. And so this is not my normal way of drawing.
Okay, you would just do it with just a few lines to sort of guide you.
Correct. Yes. Okay. Maybe just outline.
Okay.
That's all I need. Yes. Okay. Well, I think to have a person inside this painting might be interesting, right? Just to show the scale of this gate. So I like to do that. It's really a huge gate. And then let's see, I can paint after this, after I decide where I want to see the people. Well, so I want you to look at how I'm doing people. Well, I mean, the position where I'm putting people. So even though I erased the horizon, you still remember where it was, right? Right here was the horizon. So I'm putting people on the horizon, especially the heads or the eye level, their eye level on the horizon. So it doesn't matter where they are. And this guy, this person is maybe a little bit closer to me. And so that's why I made him a little bigger than the other people. But look, all of them, their eyes on the horizon, right? That is very important. And so if you know this, you can do people, even if you may not see it, as long as you remember where the horizon was. And the people can be close, or they can be far away. Doesn't really matter. If you're doing a normal size, average size adult, and if you're looking at them standing on the same level, this is what happens. All right, let's start painting. Yeah, I will make this a very simple painting. I didn't choose many colors, and maybe I will just put little purplish color in the sky. The reason is there's a tree, right? It's a ginkgo tree. It's huge, and the yellow is really nice. And actually inside this temple, I know this temple very well. There's even a much bigger ginkgo trees, and it's so huge. This is really a baby, a baby size compared to that one. So, but anyway, I'm gonna put the purple because it goes really nice with the ginkgo tree. So if you don't have purple, you can mix, by putting together the blue and the red, and that makes purple. And actually, if you prefer a different color, that's fine too. So even the roof, I'm using this. Let's make it a little bit more interesting. I added a cobalt blue in this, the roof of the wall. Or maybe a little bit here too. And just differentiate the look a little bit because the sky is purple. All right. But I will cover the top half of the painting with these colors. It could be just one color if you don't really want to change. That's fine too. So, but this serves two purposes. Actually, I'm painting those things, the sky and the part of the buildings. But also, I wanted to wet the paper, not just with the water, but with the color. And the color that makes yellow really stand out. So I forgot which yellow I chose to be on the list, but it doesn't really matter. Whatever color you have, lemon yellow, I mix a lemon yellow and quinacridone gold, and then I'm putting it in the wet part in the sky because this tree is it's quite big. I don't really want to paint it too realistically. Let's see. Let's have it die. So this tree is actually outside the gate, not inside, right? I thought it may be inside. But it really doesn't matter. I'm just doing the top part of the tree. And I'm not even painting. I'm just letting this color drip from my brush. And I'm going to just put another right here just to create more balance. And right? So let's use that. Or if you think that yellow is too bright, you can mute it a little bit. You can gray it a little bit. You can mix the purple or blue and that you use in the sky in the building, and then this yellow to gray a little bit. But if you don't mind, you can use it. Just put it right here in the foreground. And even I will use this color to paint the wall. Okay, that's why I didn't put the blue purple mixture right here. All right. And then I have 3 people But I will maybe give this person this color in his clothes, but other people may be a little bit different. Accidentally, I put this yellow inside one of the people over there as well. But I can change if I don't want, if I don't like it. But let's quickly decide what I want to do for those people. Well, if they're gonna be wearing dark clothes, I don't really have to worry too much about it. But let's see. Well, just because I like this color, turquoise, I'm gonna just put this color in one of the people over there. All right. So now the first part of the painting is finished this way. It's very quick, and usually it's very fast. I don't do the details from the beginning normally. So what I have this turquoise, maybe I'm gonna just put it inside trees a little bit. Before they change colors, ginkgo leaves green, as you may know. So this makes sense for real reason. But as a painting, I think it's nice to see because I use turquoise right here. It's nice to see it elsewhere. So it's another reason. All right, so that's the first part of the painting. And then this has to dry a little bit.
So it's now a good chance to just have
yes,
a chat about
actually,
your workshop.
it is a good time.
Brilliant.
I'll give it a bit of time to dry.
So the reason that you wanted to focus on this for this Arty class, actually, Keiko, was because in the workshop, you're going to be taking the perspective elements to the next level, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I chose a street market, outdoor market.
Yeah. So what I'll do now, I'll just share my screen and show the workshop class. So if I scroll down here, I'm on the Arty classes page on Shopkeep Arty, and here's Keiko's workshop on the 29th of October. And if you click on there, you can then see the details. And this is the painting that Keiko is going to be focusing on the 29th. So maybe if you could just say a few words about that composition.
Yes, I'll be happy to. Yes, so in my workshop, I chose a fish market in Japan. It's outdoor fish market. So you can see both sides of the street and the buildings, and then there are lots of activities, and it's early morning, and then many people selling and shopping, and it's a very, very busy place. So I would talk about the perspective, how to do a drawing accurately. And after that, this is early morning, so the light is not that bright, and the colors, some colors are bright, but it's early morning atmosphere, so more grays, and how to mix grays, a variety of grays to make a really nice atmosphere. I would like to talk about that too for the painting part. But first, really, the drawing is the key. In any painting, that's what I believe. If you don't have a good drawing, you can make a good painting on top of it. Even if you may not draw, it's still, you have to see things accurately, and then you have to understand the relationships of all of the elements you put it in your painting. So whether you draw or not, your vision should be fairly accurate to build a nice painting on top of it. So that's why I always stress the importance of drawing. And I believe drawing is a part of a painting. It creates a good solid foundation. So as you know, without a solid foundation, any building you build on top of it will crumble, fall down. It's the same thing, painting. The same thing happens in a painting. So I hope you join me and enjoy this, enjoy painting this fish market. And I can maybe even tell you a background story. I actually visited this market in the northern island of Japan a few years ago. And it's really a fun place, and the food is superb.
Unfortunately, we won't be supplying the food for the workshop. It would be very nice. Brilliant. Thank you for that, Keiko. So if you're a patron and you qualify for a free workshop each month, do let us know if you want to take part in this workshop with Keiko on the 29th of October, and we can organize that for you. Alternatively, visit our classes page that I just showed you on shopkeeparty.com and click on the Keiko workshop, and you can then book your place or pre-order the video if you can't make the date. From time to time, we offer our audience on our live sessions like this, what we call a hot ticket, a discounted entry to the artist workshop for a limited period. And we're going to do it again right now. So what I'm going to do, I'll paste a special link on the webinar. I'll also put it on the YouTube page as well. And what it does is it links to a secret page on Keiko's shop, and there's an item there, and it's basically a 10% discount from her normal workshop price, and it'll only be up for an hour. So until literally in 55 minutes, until 3:30 our time. So that'll be up for an hour. So if you want to join Keiko and myself on the 29th of October, Thursday the 29th, it'll be at 3:30, so a little bit later than today, thank goodness. So 3:30 in the UK time, so it's an hour and a half later than we started this class. Then by all means take advantage of that, because that'll be up there. So I'll put that on while I hand back to Keiko. Brilliant. So let's continue with the painting of this.
Yes, let's try to finish. Yeah, so everything I put it in on the paper is still a little damp at this time of the day. It doesn't dry just as fast as in the daytime. It's still early morning here, but it's okay. It's dry enough, so I'll go ahead and then try to finish this one before time ends. So I think I'm gonna do the gate, inside the gate, where it's really, really dark. And this is what I do after I put the colors everywhere. I darken in the final step. So I have like is it a neutral tint? Yeah, it's a neutral tint. And I'm gonna mix a little bit of burnt sienna to warm it up a little bit. Color temperature, I prefer a little warmer. So under the roof, actually, that's where I'm going to hit first. But this is not just the color, the value. I had to talk about value as well. I have never used this dark value so far. This is really the first time. You can tell the difference if you compare. And I'm not really talking about colors and the thickness. I didn't really dilute it much. And so this is how I use color whenever I want to use a very dark value. So this is also something I will be talking about in my workshop, the difference between colors and value, how to deal with it, because both are equally important. And actually, in my opinion, value is more important to understand, because we all think about colors when we paint, right? But I found not everybody think about value. And that's something I thought I should really put more stress on, because the painting is not just about color. You really have to take care of value as well. And it's a mix of both to have a successful painting. So I'm just making the gate, the framework under the roof by darkening pretty much everywhere using almost the same value. Okay, and then the paper is slightly damp, but it's getting fairly dry. So if I move the brush quickly, I can make a nice dry brush effect, right? Like this. But if you don't like, you have to make sure you paint slowly, or maybe you can use a different type of paper. I'm using rough paper, so it's more textured. It's a lot easier to make this kind of brush marks. But if you don't like it, you can use a smoother paper, cold press or even hot press. But I think it's a personal preference. Okay, so I even darken under the roof that's sitting on top of the wall. Okay, like this. And actually, I'll be using a lot of dry brush technique to complete this structure. So you had to make sure the paper was dry. Okay, so even those tiles, if I just put the dry brush marks, that will resemble lots of tiles. So it's optical illusion really. And then the wall as well, right? So I might do a little bit more using a different brush. So I move the brush this way to, you know, to go all the lines pretty much the same way. But actually, this part, if you want to show another way, if you want to have another way to show perspective, you can change the direction of these lines a little bit. So I'll demonstrate for the wall because this part is done. So this side, even though you may see my pencil lines, and I was just explaining that's where the wall, the roof is. So these lines, so let's see, yeah, maybe this one is straight down, and I can make it go, you know, they can be slanted a little bit more away from here. So this is a straight line. So you can, if you see the direction, both sides of the straight line, it's different. This side, all the lines going this way, that side, the lines going that way. But this wall is just like this, and it's away from this straight line, even farther away. So these lines can be slanted even more. So this just small way, but if you want to show perspective and the different part of this painting, and that this is possible. Okay, so I darken quite a bit inside, and actually what we see behind the gate, and I was not going to do because there are more buildings, and I'm not going to do it. So I'll just maybe gray a little bit, just to suggest there are things over there. It's not really empty. So, but if you like to complete this part, you can maybe study the photo and then paint a little bit more than I do. Because of the time constraints, and also it's not really important, and I decided to just gray over there. And then under the roof on the wall, I did put yellow in the beginning, but I was gonna gray it. So I'm using the same color to gray. Especially this side, it's really important because I have two people. Because I drew quite well, I mean, making the graphite, the darkness visible. So you see that. Actually, if I don't put something behind them, some of the things don't show up, like umbrella. And the one person has the same color inside. The color of the wall and the color of his clothes the same. So I needed to differentiate by doing something, either to the person or wall. But I decided to darken the wall a little bit. Okay, so this way, all of the people have a little bit of contrast. So that's good. And I know I had to darken this side of the gate, which I will do. So this neutral tint, maybe I'm going to use a little slightly different color. I added the potato blue. Not that it's super important, just wanted to show a little slightly different color right here. And I'm being careful not to lose the corner of the roof that's in front of it, front of this dark. Okay, like that. And actually, this dark or this dark, it doesn't really matter. If you still have it, and you can use it to show a little bit more inside the tree, like the branch or the trunk, or however you want to finish. I think I want to do a little bit of both. But since this tree has lots of leaves, still has lots of leaves, you don't want to make these lines too complete. So broken lines would better. To suggest that there are leaves in front of them, right? So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm making sure I'm going slowly because this yellow, I know it's not very dry. So if I'm not careful, this dark will spread and I won't be able to show the branches nicely. So I tested a little bit and I'm pretty sure it will work even though it's not completely dry. So here and there, broken lines, like I said, to suggest the fullness of this tree. And I can do the same right here. I'm glad I put the second tree in. I think it creates more balance. So just a little bit. And then, and actually, I might splash this color a little bit, this yellow on top of this. So to complete the tree. But most of it, both trees, most of them, most of it is was done for both trees in the beginning. So I just had to add a few bits to finish. Okay, like that. All right, so let's do the people. Yeah, this person is walking this way, so I'm gonna put a little bit of color in the face and mix the orange and a little bit of red. Orange will do, or whatever color you think is appropriate. Doesn't really matter. You may have your favorite color or skin tone. Well, it's not really a people painting, and it's that these figures are part of the just a small part of the painting. So I try not to think too much about the accurate skin tone, and I didn't even bother to change, and I just put the same color in all of them. All right. And a little more detail, design detail in the wall, like that. All right, so the people, especially this person, is very important. I wanted him to stand out. So I made him a little bigger. Or separated him from the others. Okay, so
Lindsay's put, the limited palette is very pleasing with the complementary colours. I find that's key to a unified painting.
Oh, good point. Yes, limited palette always works. I think, you know, you can, if as long as you learn and or maybe you already know how to mix colors, you don't need so many colors in your palette. And then also it's a lot easier to create a color harmony, and if it's for you, you don't have to keep looking for a color. And if you have a huge palette with so many colors, sometimes you know which color you want, but you can't find it. That's a problem, right? So I never have that problem. I have a very small palette, and I don't even use all of the colors in one painting, and usually just maybe half of it or 1/3 of it. So and I think I know where my colors are. So even if I'm blindfolded, and well, maybe difficult, but I know where the colors are, so I can paint. And actually, when I was talking about painting
Blindfolded. Now
nighttime,
there's an idea.
no. But I was talking about painting a night scene, right? And even though I was standing under the street light, and that had a little strange color, so all the colors in my palette looked the same under the street light. But I didn't have a problem because I remember and where my brown is, where my cadmium red is, and it's always in the same order. So I had no problem. Plus, there are not many colors to remember anyway. So that's another advantage to have a limited palette. But more than anything, to have a color harmony, that's something we all have to um, achieve at the end of the painting, and it's a lot easier if you have a limited palette. So, but to which colors to put it in your palette, that takes time. You have to experiment using different colors, and then you may have to use those colors for a while before you can say, yes, this is my color, and I want to keep it in my palette. And so it might take a year or two. So go experiment. There are so many colors for us to enjoy out there. But I can say you need to have primary colors, 3 of them, right? And then preferably one warm, one cool in each primary. So that makes 6 colors, right? And then a few colors, it's so hard or even impossible to mix using primaries. So if you add those, you'll probably have 8 to 10. That's good. And then you have your trusty palette, and then you can take it anywhere. It's very portable, but it does take time. So take your time to find your colors. All right, so I did most of the painting, so the rest is really how to anchor these people. So I would just do something simple and to put the little shadows. I figure it's not very clear in this photo, and it's kind of overcast, but there can be sun, right? So I'm going to put the little shadow, not really a strong sun, so I'm going to use this gray that I use elsewhere, and then put the little shadow underneath, maybe this way. Yeah, I already did one, so I should continue the same way, like that. All right. Maybe under the roof, I will put shadow a little bit. I grayed the wall, but I didn't do the shadow. I just wanted to put the color gray. So this time I'm doing shadow, right, like this. Yeah. But I didn't want to make a big shadow from the wall, from the gate, and even from the wall, to put it in front of them. That will kill the light in the foreground. But instead, I might, just to finish off, I might want to do a shadow from something else outside of painting. So I can do this shadow any way I want, right? Because I'm not really showing the object. Just to add something interesting in the foreground. Yeah, like this. I'll make this shadow a little bigger because they are using umbrella. If you think, well, they're using umbrella, so it must be raining. But sometimes people in Japan or even other countries, they do use umbrellas on a sunny day. So different type of umbrella. So I was not going to do a rainy scene. All right, so I think this painting is finished this way, unless I want to add something that's not in the photo. But it's my always philosophy. I always say this: the painting is better unfinished than overworked. So I'll stop.
Definitely. Brilliant. Thank you, Keiko. That was a really good little insight. And what a fascinating way to kind of build it up to give you a little bit of a lesson. I mean, some of you will probably already know all about perspective and everything, but it's really good to understand a different person's take on how to approach it. And that was fascinating. And then to lead it through into a logical building picture, and as a really good precursor for the workshop, which has got a lot of elements using perspective in that workshop. Yes. Actually, so it's going to be a fascinating session. So Keiko and myself are very interested to see what you've come up with. So if you can post that, the Facebook link is in the description in YouTube, or if you go to the Arty classes section as well, on the post for this Arty class, the link is in there as well, or just literally go to Facebook, search for Shopkeep Arty, and you'll see the post. Just take a photo of your painting, post it there. Keiko can have a look at it, and you might be lucky enough to get a little comment from her as well, which is lovely. So post your paintings up there. It's really, really interesting to see your take on perspective. You might have done it with a different picture, I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see your interpretation. And the hot ticket link, I've put that up in the chat. So if you click on the chat below on the Zoom webinar, or if you are on YouTube, it's in the chat comments there. That is going to be disappearing pretty much. The link is going to be disappearing as soon as I finish this webinar, so in the next few minutes. So if you are interested, maybe click on the link now and it'll open up a page, and you can come back to that page later. The ticket that will be on that page is going to be going in another sort of 35 minutes or so. So you've got 30 minutes or so after the end of this to check out if you want to do that. Marion said, thank you. I've learned a lot about the horizon line. I will try this a second time later as well. So that was really good. So thank you for that, Keiko.
Thank you.
And thank you both. That was great from Lindsay. Some interesting. So it's a really interesting class. And I think if you found this interesting, and if you can think of other people that might benefit or be interested in this, please do share the YouTube link with them. Also, if you found it interesting, give it a thumbs up as well, because that's always good for the artist, and it just spreads it a little bit more on YouTube as well, because I found it a really informative class, and I think some people would really benefit, especially if you're doing urban scenes, would really sort of benefit from watching something like this. So Keiko, thank you very much. I'll leave you to the rest of your morning. Thank you so much for waking up early. It's been really great.
My pleasure.
Mary Ann has asked, should we draw the picture for the masterclass?
Let's see. I would like to explain, but I will send the photo of the drawing so you can finish your drawing.
Okay.
But I would like to show you how to do my drawing inside in the class. So if your drawing is already finished, you can just watch, and maybe that'll be just good to watch as a review.
Okay, that's brilliant. So Cynthia has said, yes, this was just great. Thank you. I will try it too. I've tried her last painting of the 3 boats on the beach 3 times. So wow. I know that's
now you're an
good,
expert on boats.
Well done, Cynthia. And Barbara, Keiko, I love watching you paint and listening to your explanations. So that was great.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Marion,
thank you.
Said thank you. Really helped understand what I was doing on that. So another great Arty class. Thank you again, Keiko. I'll let you have a nice relaxing morning now. So until next time, it's bye-bye from me again. And obviously, thank you and goodbye to Keiko.
Thank you. I hope to see many of you in my workshop.